Good day, my name is Kyrie Cabais. I'm a second year student at Pathway University, and this is my second app for the subject Smartphone Apps Assessment 2. We were tasked to create a multi-page application. My goal for this Android application was to provide a digital wardrobe, hence the name Pocket Closet. And the idea was to be able to take photos, crop and remove the picture background of the user's clothes, to be able to display them on the app. The Dress Me page would be dedicated to virtual styling, allowing users to mix and match their existing clothes without needing to physically go to their closet. This offers a seamless way to visualize full-on outfits. I also envisioned an outfit schedule page which would let the user plan their whole week's clothes ahead of time. The user would be able to save entire outfits for each day and of course easily create and store new combinations whenever they'd like. Finally, the My Wardrobe page would compile and organize all their clothing items and accessories. This page would also include filtering capabilities, like to segregate their clothes into pants, maxi skirts, and boots for better utilization and easy navigation through their collection. Layout. I designed a high-fidelity prototype on Figma before developing the app on Android Studio so that I would have an idea of what elements I'll need to have and where. I wanted a simple design for the concept to give a more authentic, energetic, early app development aesthetic. Personally, most fashion apps on the market feel intimidating to use, so I wanted to stick to something that speaks to my inner child, and I feel like I've achieved it with this layout. In the main homepage layout, I tackled a common design challenge, making a section scroll sideways, a horizontal scroll, within a page that already scrolls up and down. Android Studio was intended for developers to have a static preview rather than an interactive screen to ensure that developers can position elements exactly how they would want, without unintended scrolling interfering with the design process. However, I deliberately chose to practice incorporating scroll features to keep up with the industry standard app development features where every app has a built-in vertical scrolling. In this project, I was able to implement a horizontal scrolling section nestled within an overall vertically scrolling screen. I used constrained layout for arranging things precisely on my app, even with all the other layouts happening. For the home page, I created a horizontal scroll within a vertical scroll in my app. The way my layout works is that I started with a scroll view, then in that I nested a linear layout, and to keep the other elements arranged precisely, I nested a constraint layout widget. This was to ensure that I can retain an image scroller that scrolls left to right in an app that already scrolls up and down. Android ViewPager 2 widget. I used an Android widget called ViewPager 2 to contain the horizontal scroller for the two sections at the bottom of the page. To put the images into those image sliders, I had to embed them directly into the main pages.kt file. For this project, I did not use a strings.xml file to compile all the text in my app, so you will notice that I have a lot of ignore hard-coded text on all my .xml activities. In the Dress Me page, I utilized the recycler view element to be dedicated to scrolling images. Horizontal scroll view was another option to use for the horizontal item scrolling, but I wanted to attempt using recycler view. Upon researching between the two, I found that using recycler view is a common practice when handling dynamic or large lists like product catalogs, chat lists, image sliders, etc. I needed my page to have a back button to return to the home page, so I customized an image button, created a special ID for it to be initialized in my dressme.kotlin file, and finally created an intent to start the main activity. Critical evaluation. This assessment was my first ever exposure into the world of Android app development, and it was certainly a steep learning curve. While the initial excitement of bringing my ideas to life was high, the biggest challenge I quickly ran into was the amount of development time it takes to turn an ambitious prototype features into a fully functional application. I had so many ideas I wanted to implement, like animations to make the app even more dynamic. However, my laptop often struggled and would keep crashing from Android Studio, which unfortunately limited my ability to experiment freely with those dynamic visual enhancements. Looking ahead, I'm committed to deepening my knowledge of Android Studio layouts. I want to keep playing around with unconventional app designs to push creative boundaries, but I also want to make sure that I'm balancing that with practicing industry standard app development to build skills that are practical and relevant. Thank you. Have a nice day.